So today we got to hear from Jayden Reed after the Packers' second day of OTA practices, the first day that was open to the media. And Jayden Reed addressed the report that came out a few weeks back, claiming that he was the Packers' top receiver. And just to bring this back up before I share what Reed said about this, let me just read it here from Schefter. This was back on May 12th. And Schefter says, Packers GM Brian Gutekunst met last week with Jayden Reed's agent Drew Rosenhaus to clarify the wide receiver's status in Green Bay. After the team drafted Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, the team said it will not affect Reed's status as its top receiver, per source. So it was surprising to hear from that report the Packers saw him as a top receiver because they had not publicly said anything like that before. And then here's a tweet from today from Matt Schneidman who says, Jayden Reed says, quote, a lot of people misinterpreted, end of quote, the ESPN report that his new agent, Drew Rosenhaus, clarified with Brian Gutekunst that Reed is Green Bay's top receiver. And then he posts a video, and here is the excerpt from that video. Reed says, a lot of people misinterpreted that, like I hired a new agent, and we talked about it before even the draft, really. That he said he was going to talk to, the front office and everybody there, to know just catch up and make sure everybody on the same page. As a new client, he told me that's the way he was going to do it, and he did it. So now I don't know how it got out because it was supposed to be confidential, but that's how it goes sometimes. And people get a different perception, and they make their own perception, which is okay, but that's how it goes sometimes. So I do think that gives us some more clarity about who initiated this conversation, and it sounds like his agent came to him and basically said, I'm going to go talk to the team, sort of see where we are because he's a new agent, which is very understandable. And then it sounds like the result of that meeting was a little bit later, the report from Adam Schefter. So I think I like to hear this because it just takes away any concern I have that Jayden Reed could get frustrated during this season with his role. Just because if he was the one who was potentially upset after the Packers drafted a first-round receiver and he were to say to his agent, hey, can you go clarify to see if, they still want me around here? That would make me more concerned just because if a guy could potentially get unhappy because, not getting enough targets, that could be a problem. And it sounds like it was all on the agent saying, hey, I'm going to go talk to the front office. So that's a great sign. It doesn't sound like Jayden Reed initiated this. And we don't exactly know how the information got out. I think we can all make our own guesses and assumptions. My guess would be the agent shared it with Adam Schefter. That would be my guess. Don't know if it's true, but I think that could potentially make sense. And so it doesn't sound like, which I talked about previously, that Gutekunst full-on said, hey, he's our top receiver now. Not exactly sure what directly was said, but I think this is good to see that Jayden Reed wasn't the one who initiated this. And then this is also from the same interview. Ryan Wood shares this. Jayden Reed makes clear his role in Packers offense is not an issue. Quote, I'm not the type to care about targets. I really don't care about it. I can have two targets. If we win, I don't care. Reed said he models himself after Aaron Jones, about the most selfless superstar there's ever been. So I think that makes more sense from what I've understood about Jayden Reed over the past couple seasons. And I think that's why the initial report from Adam Schefter surprised me, just because it felt like it came out of nowhere. And now it does sound like it came from, it wasn't Jayden Reed initiating this conversation to clarify his role. So I think that's a plus for the Packers wide receiver room, in my opinion. If you want more Packers news, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.